Okay, I'm just gonna go and start. If you guys are just now joining in, we're gonna be doing a Doombringer set review for Constructed. So I'll be going over the Constructed cards and their playability in Constructed. Sorry, I'm going over all these cards and their playability in Constructed. Basically saying if they're playable or if they're good enough or not good enough. We're going to go and start off with Diamond today. And our first Diamond card is going to be Annihilate. Annihilate is a basic action that costs 6 that destroys all cards. So basically this destroys every card on the board or on the battlefield, however you want to see it. This card is much better than Frostlock because unlike Frostlock, there's no risk of voiding 3 cards and then getting your Frostlock blown up to like Dark Cardinal Zan or Disruptor Drone or Into the Unknown. Instead, you can just play Annihilate, wipe the board, and be done with it. Traditionally, Diamond decks had to play Dark Cardinal Zan and then a Clash of Steel in order to get like a full board wipe. But you no longer have to do that with Annihilate. Now you can just annihilate all the Merry Caravan, all the troops. You can annihilate socket decks, destroying all their lockets and all their troops. So this card is very good. It will be a staple in the format. It's great in any kind of diamond control deck or even a mid-range deck out of the sideboard. Sideboard being the reserves, obviously. All right, next card we have is, let's see, Apocalyte. These are the fusion cards. We can fuse 2 of them together and put them in your deck. Some combination of these I'm sure will be played, but there's over 150 combinations. So obviously I'm not gonna go over all the combinations, but the fusion cards basically, if you open 2, you can take 2, put them together, make a card, then put in your deck. I'm sure some amount of these will be playable, but again, I'm not going to go over the 150 plus combination you can make from these cards. Also, what's up, Vistris? Alright, Brilliant Annihilix. Brilliant Annihilix is a 3-cost 2/2, has 2 sockets, major and a minor. And then it also says this can't be blocked or targeted by non-prismatic shards. So you can't like hero fall this, you can't strangle this. You have to use a colored removal spell on this or block it with a colored removal spell. So against decks like Mono Block Control, this card is very, very good. The fact that you can put like the minor or the gem in it that makes it where it can be targeted by spells that cost 2 or less means you can't even Hawkward turn it. So to kill it, you have to use like Assimilate or some obnoxious removal spell that's most people won't have in their decks. This card is going to be very hard to kill. It's going to be very annoying. You can even socket it with like the Gem Battalion to give all your troops +1/+1, or you can give it the green gem, major gem, that it deals damage to a player. It'll look at the top like 4 or 5 cards of your library and put a creature card in your hand. This card's gonna be very good, especially in Lady Avalanche, where you can like give it momentum, and it's already basically unblockable and it's very hard to kill. So this card's gonna be a staple in the format for as long as it's legal. It's basically a different Runeair. So if you think you can play Diamond or you want to play Sockets, pick this card up. I'll pick this card up. Very playable. Alright, Cloudpeak Hermit. It's a 4-cost 3/2. Comes on play. It gives a troop flight permanently. This is a limited card. This won't see play in Constructed. And this set review is not for limited. Just for Constructed. We're going to skip this one. Coalesce. This is a 2-cost action. A random diamond troop you control gets +1/+1. Repeat this for each other shard. So you can give a random diamond troop you control up to +5/+5 if you control all 5 thresholds, or if you have all 5 thresholds. This is not good in constructed. Playable. I'm sure it's playable limited with the Diamond Champion. That gives you different thresholds, but again, not limited playable, not constructed playable. Daybloom, 2-cost quick action. Target troop you control gets +1/+3. This turn, trigger the deploy of that troop. This is interesting because we've seen the one with Deathcry. Deathcries usually have stronger effects in deploy because they have to come into play and then die. With this, you don't. So this is overall going to be a little weaker than Nightbloom, or the one that triggers Deathcries. I don't think this will be playable in constructed. It'll be playable limited though, but not constructed. Not good enough for constructed to play. All right, Devoted Exile. Important to note, this thing is an Ardent troop, so it can fill your requirement for your Ardent Crusader. It's a 1-cost 1/1, has life drain and rage 1 if you control a ruby threshold. Maybe and it's only because of what type it is, it being an Ardent troop. Otherwise, a 1/1 is very unexciting, even with life drain. This we'll see play just because of what kind of troop it is, though. Echohorn. Echohorn is a 2-cost 1/1. Rowdy. Summon an Echo with this troop's power and toughness. So Rowdy is a mechanic that when you play a spell regardless, when you play an action or a creature, anything that costs more than this card's cost, you'll trigger the Rowdy of this card, and the cost of this troop will go up by 1. So let's say you play for a Hero Fall. Let's say you play a Hero Fall. This Rowdy will trigger. It'll summon a copy of Echohorn with power and toughness equal to this troop's power and toughness, and the cost of Echohorn will go up by 3. So you'll be able to do it again when you cast a 4-cost spell. Echohorn, I don't think this is playable at all in constructed. The reason being is because you see too much things going on. Like you need to pump this troop or give it some sort of ability on top of also having ways to trigger Rowdy. It's much better limited, where if you just copy it once or twice as a 1/1 or even a 2/2 or whatever, it's great. But in constructed, this card is not good. Echotwin Apocalyte. Another ender, has fusion. This one gives the fusion card you make deploy, summon a copy of this. Again, there's a huge number of ender combinations you can make, of termini, I guess is the word I'm looking for, you can make, and I'm not going to go into them. However, this looks oddly like something. Don't want to, when you get pregnant. Yeah. All right, moving on. Fey Breeze. This is what you use in your house after someone takes a huge dump in your bathroom. You just spray it. Spray it everywhere to make it smell better. And this is the same thing you can do with this card. So like, because this card stinks, you're just gonna throw it in the trash can. All right. You're just gonna throw it. Take this card and throw it in the trash because it's not playable in constructed. It's probably fine in oh noes. Guys, I lied to you. I thought it said revert. For some reason, I thought this card said revert. See, now I'm getting the Febrezed. See, I was getting this a better view, and now it's Febrezing me to give it a good review. This card is playable in reserves. Destroy artifact or constant, and that's Fate Weave. For some reason, I thought it reverted. It does not revert. It just destroys artifact or constant, which is definitely playable in reserves. This has always been a playable effect in reserves. So, even though it costs 3, it's a little pricey, it's still a playable card. And now we get Bolt Spasm's brother, Frostspasm. 1 cost 2/2 elemental. I'm not sure how important the elemental typing matters right now, but even still, a 1 mana 2/2 isn't that great. Like, we have much better cards for 1. So I'm gonna say no to this card. Reason being because, like, you'd rather play Intrepid Conjurer or whatever other, or Bolt Spasm or whatever other 1-drop that's much better than Frostspasm. Glimmer Fox. 2 cost 1/1. Deploy. Create a standard resource of your choice and put it into your hand. Obviously great in limited where you're playing a prismatic deck. As far as constructed, this is interesting. So basically you are paying 1 more for Shard Call, but you're getting a body for it. You're getting a 1/1. Maybe, I mean, like, I could. This is very fringe, but it could see play in, like, the deck that wants to play the Heart, the 5-color Heart card. The resource is like Eradicrux's Heart or something. If you control all 5 thresholds, when it comes into play, you draw 2 cards. This could see play in that deck, potentially. Maybe you play like 4 Shard Calls and like 2 of these. It's a lot of work for a 5-color deck to trigger the Heart, but this is where I see this card being played. Otherwise, it's nowhere else. Besides limited, obviously. Alright, Gold Boots. 3 cost constant, Rowdy. Void target opposing card. When this leaves play, put each other cards void by it into play. This card is garbage. You can play something that costs 3 that is nothing when it comes into play. I should say garbage because that's the meaning of the card, but this card is not playable. If you play this card, it's not gonna do anything. You're gonna have to play it. Your opponent's gonna play some actual spell that matters, like Pathfinder or Shamrock the Goldfather or something that matters. Then you're gonna have to go on your turn and then have to cast a card that costs 4 or more to trigger this card's ability. It's just too much work. Gold Boots is not good enough. If it did something as soon as it came into play, then it'd be very good. But it doesn't. So this card is it's not playable. Hypnotic Dancers. 3 cost 2/2. And just play exhaust target opposing troop. Art's great, but the effect is bad for constructed. Ironshell Apocalyte. Same thing. This is a Termini you can fuse. You can get an infinite amount of these. I'm just going to skip this because I'm sure there'll be like 2 or 3 playable ones. But Protection Racket. Quick action. Up to X target troops get +1/+1 and invincible this turn. This would be good if Massacre was Extinction. But the fact that we have Massacre means all troops get -3/-3 permanently. So you cannot save them with Protection Racket. There's obviously a blowout in limited where you can just like basically make it a one-sided board wipe. You can punish your opponent for blocking wrong. But as far as constructed, I don't think so. Unless Annihilate becomes huge, which I don't think Annihilate will be big. I think we played like in control decks, it'll be a staple in the format. But I don't think this card is going to be the way to beat it. Maybe after Languish. I keep saying Languish. After Massacre rotates and we get like actual just board wipes, things that destroy instead of giving troops -X/-X. Alright, Raving Doomsayer. 5 cost, 3/5. Deploy. Target prismatic troop you control gets +2/+2. Limited. 3-drop, 2/2. Has flying. He gets +2/+2 if you control all 5 thresholds. Selectable minor. Man, if this card, it's so close. I think if this card was a prismatic card, so that you could socket it with one of the prismatic gems, giving it like +1 life drain or +1 in crush, this card might be playable. The fact that it's this way, where you can't even abuse the prismatic shards, makes me say this card is not playable in constructed. Also, no faction. Obviously, it's Ender, which makes it even worse. Shady Gourmand. 4 costs, 1/4. Life drain. Deploy. Create a cannibalize and put it into your hand. This card is super interesting because it's not a Deathcry ability. The 4-cost 1/4 and comes in play. You get to cannibalize it. Cannibalize the 3-cost action that's quick. You can. It's obviously blood. You play it. You lose 2 life and draw 2 cards. And this guy can offset the life loss from cannibalize. It's super slow, but it is technically card advantage. It's technically a 3-for-1. I don't think it's going to for constructed, but there could be a crazy metagame where if things are super, super grindy, then maybe a control deck will play this in the reserves to gain some life and then draw some cards, but it takes a very specific metagame for this to be playable. One that's super slow and super grindy. As far as limited though, I think this card's great and limited, but constructed, I'm going to say no, just because like the stars have to line for you to do this, and it feels like this format has a bunch of bombs and like combos and crazy stuff going on. I don't think you will have time to do all this. Okay, Spiritual Servitude, quick action, 5 cost. Troops you control get +1/+1 rebirth. This would be great if Massacre was Extinction. Again, the fact that we have Massacre is a problem for cards like this. This is great. This is great against Annihilate, but it's bad versus Strangle, and it's also 5 cost. Like if Annihilate becomes like the go-to removal spell, which I don't think it will. I think it should be like a 1 or 2 of in control decks. This will be good. This also does have potential to be broken or punished by like with rebirth, like some sort of combo deck where you can sacrifice the same troop over and over again, trigger rebirth, get it back. All that being said, I'm going to say this card is a no for constructed. This card is not good enough for constructed. It just costs too much, and the effect right now is not worth it. Subsume, 3 costs, quick action. Put target non-prismatic troop into your deck. So put target monocolored troop into your deck. No, I don't think so. Actually, I shouldn't say that. This card's actually interesting. Overall, I'm going to say no, but corner case scenario where you are playing the champion that can acquire all 5 thresholds, and if you control 5 thresholds, you gain 5 life or something. This could be a removal spell in that deck. It does get around Deathcry, which is nice. So this is interesting. It's a 3-cost removal spell that's quick, that gets around Deathcry, but it's just so narrow because the troop does not change color. So if you take like a blood troop, it's gonna stay blood. It's not gonna become diamond or anything. So you have to be playing that deck that can have multiple thresholds, like probably all 5 or at least 4, and then that deck could play this card. Because let's be honest, a deck playing 5 colors or 5 thresholds is gonna have a hard time casting a Hero Fall. So this will definitely be better for that. Untimely End. It's a shark eating a gleef. It's an ender shark eating a gleef guy. Alright. 4 costs, quick action, destroy target attacking or blocking troop. If you control a blue threshold or sapphire threshold, draw a card and discard a card. Limited, not playable when constructed. This costs way too much and it's too narrow for constructed playability. Alright, last card for Diamond is Wayfaring Sharpshooter. 3 costs, 2/1, quick troop, very relevant. Swift strike, relevant. Deploy, deal 2 damage to target attacking or blocking troop. This card is very, very good. It's an excellent reserves card. I do not believe it's really playable main deck unless the format is a bunch of like 2 to 4 toughness cards. But the fact that you can like play this, like kill a Bolt Spasm, then block a Righteous Outlaw is phenomenal. If the format is super aggressive, this card will be insane. But this card will stop will stop those decks. Like, coming into play and killing, again, like killing like a Bolt Spasm, Righteous Outlaw, or a Baby Yeti, then blocking another troop that has like toughness 2 or less, and killing it because of Swift Strike, then living. Like, that's huge. That's huge. This card is a phenomenal reserves card. Like, the best reserves card, like top, amazing reserves card. But again, I do not believe it's good enough to play main deck unless the metagame is super aggressive. Okay, that wraps up the diamond cards. So I'm going to pause here for a second because this is where in this video, and I'll see you guys in whatever video you decide to watch next.